I'm going to be ranking the best value cards right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. As you guys can see, we do have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 30 of the best value cards in the game right now. If you guys are wondering what I do mean by value, the way that I consider a good value card is for how much MT they do go for and how well they do play in game. So a perfect example of a great value card is a card like Galaxy Opal AK-47, because AK is probably a top 3 small forward in the game, and he only goes for about 60, 70, 80,000 MT. So that is really good value of a card because you get a top 3 card at that position for only about 70,000 MT compared to a card like Kevin Durant, who I would consider probably is a bad value card. Not saying he's a bad card, just saying he's a bad value card because he goes for what, 400k, especially for the hero version. He goes for even more than that. And he's not even better than a card like AK, at least in my eyes. So cards like, Paul George, the hero version, Kawhi Leonard, these type of cards, Kevin Durant, Kobe, they're still great cards in game. They're just super overpriced and I would say bad value cards. So every single card on this tier list is going to be extremely good value. And then I'll just be ranking them from tiers S all the way down to D tier of who I think are the best cards. But everyone here is really good value. There's no bad value cards in this tier list. All going to be super, super good value for their price tag and how well they do play. But let me know if you guys like this type of idea and if you want to see more of these videos in the future. I think it's going to be a super helpful video just so you guys can see who are the best value cards right now in the game. But looking at the next best value card is going to be DeAndre Ayton. I would probably throw him somewhere in B tier. He's a new pink diamond card from today in the playoff evos. He's a very solid center. Once he goes up to that pink diamond version, he's a 7'1" center with a 7'4" wingspan. We know he's going to be an elite defender, 95 block, 95 interior defense. He's got a 92 steal, 88 perimeter, also pretty quick and athletic, 87 speed, 87 acceleration with a 95 strength. Yes, his jump shot or his 3-ball might be a little bit low, only at a 73, but I feel like his jump shot's not that bad on very quick timing. You're just going to have to give him some key shooting badges. Like, he is missing a lot of badges for playmaking and shooting, but I still think DeAndre Ayton, for only about 10 to 15k at that pink diamond tier, I think he's probably going to be somewhere in B tier for the best value cards in the game. Talking about another amazing pink diamond center is going to be this hero Mo Bamba. I would say he's easily going to be in the A tier category. This card is actually super underrated when we're talking about like the top centers in the game. I don't think he's like on that Kareem or Kristaps or Dikembe Yao Ming level, but for his price tag, like, he's only about, maybe for the hero, 20,000 MT, and he is extremely good value being a 7' center with a 7'10" wingspan. He's amazing defender, 96 block, 95 interior defense. I think he's very similar to DeAndre Ayton, except that he's got a way higher 3-ball. He's got Hall of Fame catch and shoot, corner specialist, limitless range, and he does have also a way better jump shot. So very similar centers in a sense, but I do think Mo Bamba is definitely going to be a tier above DeAndre Ayton. Elgin Baylor, I would say, is probably high B tier. A very, very good point guard in the game. I'm not like super high on him. I know a lot of people do like this card a lot, but there's so many good value point guards in the game that we'll talk about here in a second. But Elgin Baylor, still 6'5", has a great jump shot, has that Trae Young leaner, which is super effective, has great dribble sigs. I mean, all around is still an extremely good value point guard in the game, being 6'5" at the point guard spot. I do wish he was maybe a little bit taller, but all around, I will say Elgin Baylor is still going to be in B tier. Jonathan Bender, I think you probably got to give him A tier. He's still a 7' small forward, has a great jump shot in the game, elite movement for a 7' card, 7'4" wingspan. I mean, if you take a look at the dribble sigs, he's got the Trae Young size up, the Steph Curry escape, which means his movement's going to be super quick and very easy to combo up with the Curry escape. And then he also does have a very solid jump shot, good dunk packages. I mean, he's 7' at the 3 and all around great stats and badges. So for me, I think Jonathan Bender, if we're talking about the best value cards in the game, I think he's probably got to go somewhere in A tier. Big Z, I think you got to go S tier. I'm not exactly sure his price tag. I think he's below 150, and if he's below 150k, he's probably one of the best value cards in the game because he's so dominant at that small forward position, being 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan and having the eligibility to play small forward and shooting guard. I mean, that is extremely good value. Like, you can look at his stats and say, okay, he's got low speed, low acceleration, jump shot maybe isn't the quickest, but like, if you use this card to his highest ability, you just match every single play, and he's going to be so elite on the defensive end, and it's going to really help you out matchup wise. Now, I will say, when we're talking about the Giants, you never want to have 3 Giants on your squad. This is just kind of a tip. You do not want to run, at least in my eyes, you don't want to run Big Z, Taco, and Yao together because you're just going to be too slow. It's going to be hard to recover. People can just 5 out and take you off the dribble every single play, and you're very predictable on the offensive end of what you're going to do and most likely just match every single play. So I think having 2 giants on the court is super effective. So if you want to go Big Z and Taco at your 3 and your 4, and then maybe go for like a Dwight Howard at the center position, go for a Dino Raja, you know, just giving you a budget option, a DeMarcus Cousins, that's perfectly cool to do. But I wouldn't recommend having 3 giants. So if you're going to run Big Z, you want to pair him around like, you know, maybe one other giant, and then obviously tall players. Like you want to have Hitos, Jokic's around him, but you don't want to have 3 giants on the court who are going to be relatively slow. But Big Z value wise, if you know how to use him and you put him in the right lineup, I do think he's easily a top 5 best value card in the game. Robert Williams, I would say, is probably B tier. Extremely good value at the small forward position because he's only like 15k. I think for the hero version, maybe a little bit more, and also his out of position one is only about 5,000 MT, and they're basically the same card. He's got elite defensive stats, he's one of the best budget defenders in the game, and also is super athletic at the small forward spot. So I do think Robert Williams gonna be in that B tier category. Hedo Turkoglu, I think he's super close to S tier. I think he honestly might be S. I'm gonna keep him in A tier for now, but you guys gotta remember, he's 6'10" at the 1, a great jump shot, good player model. I mean, that's all you pretty much need to know. He's got very decent stats, but he's 6'10" with an amazing jump shot and very solid dribble sigs. I would say DeMarcus Cousins probably in B tier. I kind of want to move DeAndre Ayton down to C. I just don't know if he's on the same level as a Boogie Cousins at the 5, or even as a card in general, or Time Lord or Elgin Baylor. So I think DeAndre Ayton's still a very solid, you know, value center in the game, but I do think he's probably going to be in C tier. Caris LeVert, I would say, is also C. I mean, LeVert actually might be B tier because LeVert is very underrated at that shooting guard spot. He's 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, super well-rounded stats and badges. But the main thing is you look at his animations. He's got great dribble sigs, the D Mitch size up, John Wall escape. I'm just not the biggest fan personally of his jump shot. If he had a better release, I think he would easily be B tier. But I think for now, I'm gonna put him in that C tier category. Antoine Jamison is easy B tier in my eyes. He honestly could be A. He's just so dominant at that shooting guard position. And I think he's a very underrated card currently in the game. He's 6'8" at the 2 with a 7'4" wingspan. He's got a great player model in game, amazing all-around stats and badges, like just a really complete card, pretty much 90 in every single category. He's got such a good jump shot, like the Kyle Korver base and the Carmelo Anthony upper on very quick timing is such a quick jump shot and also very easy to green in my eyes. And then he's got maybe not the best dribble sigs in the world, but all around, I think Antoine Jamison is one of the better value cards in the game. Dino Raja, I think you still got to go B tier. I'm not sure if he's A tier anymore. Like I would take Mo Bamba, you know, over him at the power forward or the center position, but I think Dino is still extremely good value being under 10,000 MT. I think Diop is on the same level as DeAndre Ayton, both very solid centers in the game. I just think cards like Dino, DeMarcus Cousins, Mo Bamba are just slightly better at that 5. I think Reggie Lewis is probably B tier. I would say slightly better than Caris LeVert, but I wouldn't say he's like extremely good in an A tier. I would say he's probably somewhere in that middle tier in B. Ousmane Dieng and Joe Ingles both got to be in A tier. Honestly, they could be in S tier as well, and that's why I went with Elgin Baylor in B tier, because for me personally, I like Hedo Turkoglu, Ousmane Dieng, and Joe Ingles over a card like Elgin. I mean, Dieng's 6'10", solid jump shot, amazing dribble sigs, he's a great defender, and then you got Joe Ingles, 6'8" at the 1, super quick with the ball in his hands, great at going to the basket, amazing jump shot, good dribble sigs, very solid defenders. I think both these guys, if we're talking about the best value cards in the game, gotta go at least A tier, maybe even in the S tier category. Jonathan Isaac, I would say, is probably high B tier. He's still one of the best defensive small forwards in the game, and I believe he's only 30 to 40k, which is extremely good value for one of the best defenders. You know, being 6'11" at the 3 with a 7'2" wingspan, it's really important at this stage of my team to have tall players on your court, because, you know, we're getting those out of position cards like KG at the 3, Big Z at the 2, you know, all these super tall point guards like Jokic, Hedo, you know, Ousmane Dieng that are 6'10". So it's really important to have tall cards at G's position, and that's exactly what Jonathan Isaac brings. He's going to be tall, athletic, he's got lanky player build, he's got great defensive stats, and then he can green wide open in the catch and shoot. I would say Jeff Green is probably C tier, a very, very solid, you know, value budget card in the game, but I would take Robert Williams and Jonathan Isaac over him a little bit at that small forward position. Kelly Oubre, I think, is also C tier. Another just very solid shooting guard in the game, and I also do want to put Iguodala. Iguodala is probably B, because I do think Iggy's slightly better. Is there any point guard? There's no point guards in C tier, so I can't really compare him to anybody in C, but I think he's a little bit worse than Elgin Baylor, but I don't think he's that much worse. He still brings great defense to the table, really good at getting to the rim, and he only goes for about 12 to 15k. So I think Iggy's probably going to be in B tier. Kyle Kuzma is easy A, sorry. I think he's honestly one of the best small forwards in the game for his price tag. I think the hero version's around 40k. maybe a little bit more, and he's still extremely good value for that price tag, being 6'9" at the 3 with a 7-foot wingspan, elite jump shot. I mean, one of my favorite releases in the game with the Kyle Kuzma base and the Kyle Kuzma upper on very quick timing. I feel like it's one of the quicker jump shots in the game and also super easy to green. He's got great dribble sigs. He's got the Kyle Lowry size up, the tray escape, combos up super nicely together, and then great stats and badges with the hero version, having 25 on Hall of Fame. So Kyle Kuzma for me, easily going to be in the A tier category. Matisse Thybulle, I think he's basically just a worse Elgin Baylor. That's kind of the way that I look at the card. I'm gonna throw him probably in B tier. Jabari Parker, very solid value card in the game. Great small forward, I think on that Jeff Green type of level. At the 3, Pink Diamond Peter Gudmundsson, I think is probably A. I mean, he's definitely not B tier. I'm not sure if he's A tier though. He's still a great center in the game. 7'2", 7'10" wingspan, really good player model, plays solid defense, and does have a very elite jump shot. I think you got to throw him in the A tier category. Poku is probably B. I do like him a little bit more than Jeff Green and Jabari Parker, and then he's kind of on that like Antoine Jameson, Jonathan Isaac level. I'm not sure if he's on the Kuzma and Jonathan Bender level. Taco Fall, easy S tier. I mean, the card's still an absolute, I don't know what I'm saying. Taco Fall is Taco Fall, man. Like, he is just literally, I was about to say he's still like absolutely insane, but we all know Taco Fall has been absolutely like incredible for, you know, what, over a month now? Yeah, just over a month now. I mean, he's one of the more glitchy OP cards in the game. He's got to go S tier, man. Even though it's super like annoying, he's just got to go in that S tier category. Ricky Davis, I think, is high A. I'm not sure if Ricky Davis deserves to be an S tier. I think he's still a very elite shooting guard and probably the best shooting guard on this list. But is he a top 5 best value card in the game? I'm not 100% sure. Still really nice on the offensive end and does have a very good jump shot. Rudy Fernandez, I think, is B tier. Slightly worse than like the, you know, slightly worse than the Ousmane Dieng, Joe Ingles, Hito Turkoglu at the point guard spot. Luke Walton, I think, is also on that level. I think he's slightly worse than Ousmane Dieng and a Joe Ingles. Very solid at that, you know, point guard position, 6'8" and still super quick with the ball in his hands. And then I do think Thaddeus Young probably going to be in C tier. So now we do have to move to the cards from A tier into the S tier category. For me, I think the first one is easily going to be Hito Turkoglu. I mean, just such a great value card in the game for only about 30 to 35k, and you can make a real argument he's a top 5 point guard in the game. And then I'm really deciding between Kyle Kuzma and Peter Gudmundsson. And we don't have a traditional center, so I do want to go with Peter and throw him in that S tier category. And then is there anybody from B I want to move to A tier? I mean, I could move like cards like Elgin Baylor and Luke Walton into A tier because I do think they're slightly better than the point guards in B. So I'm going to go with this for now. Even Antoine Jameson, I think I might throw up to A tier as well. I think he's a very elite shooting guard. And let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about my best value card tier list? And like I said earlier, let me know if you guys like this type of idea. I think it's super helpful for you guys to see just who are the really extremely good value cards currently in my team. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.